Catelin.
Hello.
Those are
Finally.
great earrings.
For those of you listening, I had to make sure that I had earrings on before we could start recording. For
Yeah,
those
because
who
we're doing
watch
video
us on
now.
YouTube,
So
gotta
we
bring my
did,
A game. So I got a little hair product, got
yeah,
got
and
a
Zach
sassy hoop earring.
he'd started our countdown, and you screamed at him to
I was
stop
like,
it so you could go get earrings, and he
"Yes!"
did. He's like, oh my goodness. All
And then
right.
he told me before we started that he understands why I needed them. So
Okay, that's a vibe. It's definitely a vibe.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we're not doing earrings today. I mean, we don't have a guest. It's just us. It's kind of weird. We've
I
had so many
know, it's
guests, and we have more
nice. It's
coming up.
nice.
Zach's been doing his job as a producer and just getting us those guests, like cranking it
He's
up.
producing.
But we're going to talk about free HubSpot versus paid HubSpot. HubSpot does have a lot of free stuff.
They do.
And like,
But I
when
feel
do you
like
need to upgrade?
once you taste the paid features, it's real hard to go back. Real
Well,
hard.
and upgrading to a starter suite is easy. Like, that's not too expensive.
Yeah.
Depending on how many people you have. Jumping to pro can be more expensive, but it can be totally worth it. So,
And coincidentally, the call that I was on right before this was with a new HubSpot user who is still kind of sorting through what features they need to use and who on their team needs what features. And
okay.
I was minorly frustrated on their behalf because it was like, well, it's like shitty Tetris, right? Where you're like, this person needs to be able to use e-signatures and be on a group calendar link, but they don't need any of the other sales features. But this person also needs to be able to do e-signature, and
Well,
I think
so
we've
you
got
get
it solved for now.
We do.
But
And I think we need to probably talk about our fake cocktail before we get into that.
Probably
Since
a
that's
fake
kind of what the intro
cocktail?
is supposed to be. Well, it's a mocktail.
Oh, okay. I was
So,
like, why is it
yeah.
fake?
I looked at it because I was like, okay, so first of all, like, it's a mocktail and it's got what's called Gia in it, Ghia. And when I read it, I read ghee, like clarified
I did
butter.
too.
And I was like, this is scaring me. Why is there like liquid clarified butter in this? But it's not.
What
Gia
is-
it's a non-alcoholic aperitivo.
Okay.
So it's infused with yuzu, orange, and ginger. So it gets that kind of sweet citrus, but that bite or bitterness that Aperol has. So this is called the Night at the Spritz. Obviously, I wanted it to be putting on the Spritz, and I want to know if there's a putting on the Spritz drink too.
Do you know Spritz cookies are my favorite Christmas cookies?
Oh, my mom loves Spritz cookies. She makes those
They're
all the
so
time.
good.
I'll have to
They're
let her know.
a pain
that
in the
if
ass to make, though. I got my grandma's like cookie press, and
Yep.
I will never.
Well, if my mom makes them again this holiday season, I'll have her save some for you.
Thank
so
you.
that would be
Green
wonderful.
Christmas trees were always what my mom would make. Shall we?
So this, it's a non-alcoholic take on. Okay, so the description says on a Campari and soda, but a Spritz is actually an Aperol Spritz.
Not always.
I guess you
The
could do a
Spritz can
Campari
be-
Spritz.
yeah.
Well,
A
and there's
spritz
also
is a spritz is anything with sparkling. So
I
like you
know,
could
but-
do like a wine spritzer, like a white wine spritzer is like
Yep.
Pinot Grigio with club soda.
But when you're in Italy, if you ask for a spritz, it's going to be an
It's
Aperol
Aperol,
spritz if
yeah.
you don't specify. But there is also
Yeah.
an Italicus spritz, which is interesting because Italicus is an herbal, which I think we've talked about at one point, an herbal cocktail or aperitif from Italy as
Yes.
well. That one you're supposed to garnish with olives, which makes me want to just gag because I don't like olives. But it is very
I don't
herbal.
like that.
I mean, gin drinkers tend to like Italicus.
Herbaceous.
So,
yeah.
but you can do other things with it.
Yeah,
So
okay,
this one
okay,
doesn't have
okay.
alcohol. If you want alcohol, you can just do a spritz, like regular one.
We're not here to tell you what to do.
No,
in this
not
instance.
at all. All right. So how do we make this thing? And
Let's make it. Let's make it. You need 2 ounces of Gia. Gia or Gia? It says Gia to me.
I think Ghia, Ghia.
Gia? Yeah, Gia. Okay.
Yeah,
2 ounces of sparkling
sure.
water, and you can garnish with a rosemary sprig and an orange twist. So you're going to
Hmm.
add your Gia and sparkling water into a wine or rocks glass over ice and just give it a little tiny stir to combine.
Hmm.
Garnish with your fresh rosemary and your twist of an orange. Here's my twisting.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
stir it too much. You'll break up all the bubbles, and then you'll have a flat
Yeah, and that
drink.
would be sad.
Um,
Easy, easy.
so
And
this is
that
kind of
recipe
interesting.
comes from liquor.com. Night at the Spritz.
A
That's
night
funny.
at the Spritz. I am gonna Google and look and see if there's a putting on the Spritz drink. There's got to
There's
be, and
gotta be.
if there's not, we're gonna make one. We have
Hmm.
to.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
looking right now.
Okay.
Cocktail recipe from A Taste of AZ, putting on the Spritz.
Okay.
Oh, but there's
And
also a version of it from Stella Rosa wines. We won't be doing that one.
I
Oh,
remember
it's
when Stella
Prosecco,
Rosa, like,
Aperol, Club Soda. Oh, it's basically an Aperol Spritz, but with lemon juice.
oh, I could be into that.
Yeah, so Prosecco, Aperol, Club Soda or sparkling water, which is a little bit, and then a half ounce of fresh lemon juice. So that's a little bit zingier. All right, so we got two
Okay.
Spritz options there. Um,
Spritz.
yeah, I feel like I don't know what else I can say about Night at the Spritz. I feel like I'm kind of done with it.
Yeah, I love it. I
All right, well,
I like the
should we
spritz.
break and come
I
back
like
and talk about
bubbles.
what you get for free with HubSpot and why you want to pay and when you want to pay?
I think so. I think that sounds great.
We're back.
We
The countdown
are.
just started and away we went. I hate this shirt.
Is that what
I
we're
forgot we were
focusing on?
recording. My hair has been like, oh, wait, did we stop? What's happening? Oh,
No.
okay. We're
Maybe we
still
can
going.
just cut all of this out.
Okay, so we're going to start over.
We're on one today, I think.
I know. Welcome back,
Um,
Caitlin. It's great to see you after that quick break. Um, yeah, I just looked up Gia. It's a really pretty bottle. So
it is cute.
drinkgia.com, GHIA.com.
Hmm.
Super gorgeous. And I love the little cocktail glass they have with its fat, stubby pedestal. Like, that's real cute, too.
Hmm.
All
I
right,
think
so
those are
HubSpot.
Georgian punch glasses. Is that what that is?
Are they? Okay, I
Tyrell
would
was just telling me
do
about a
that.
new think of new glassware type. Um,
They have a
is it a
spring set. You get
oh
the
my
original aperitif, the
God.
berry. There's a berry version of Gia, a Gia soda, Gia ginger, lime and salt, and sumac
Okay.
and chili.
Sumac. What is sumac even?
Uh, it's a um, it's a berry, but it's like I think it's I don't know, a sweet berry or something. I'm not
Huh.
sure. Okay,
Wow.
so
Cute. It is a cute
HubSpot
bottle.
free tools. I
There
think
was
one
there
thing
was
that's
some
funny.
debate during the break about what's
There
free and
was a little
what's
debate
not.
during the break, and we'll
Yeah,
talk about that.
we will.
The interesting thing with the free tools is I have a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I want the CRM," and it's like the CRM is always free. Like
Hmm.
they've never charged for just the CRM. It's what you want to do with the CRM that gets to
Exactly.
be a little bit crazy, and also like advanced features on top of that.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, so I think the biggest piece is you can get lead generation, which is what HubSpot is really about in the free tools.
Yeah.
So you can throw a form on your website, you can have that form come through and you can generate leads.
I think
Um,
the biggest like awareness piece on the free side is that everything will have HubSpot's branding on it. So it'll
yep.
say in a corner somewhere, created with HubSpot or get started with your own HubSpot instance or whatever the like disclaimer is that you're using a HubSpot tool. But that's really, I mean, aside from that, and it's not like a huge banner or anything. It's like one single line of text
Mhm.
with the little
It's really
HubSpot,
tiny,
yeah,
like powered
logo.
by HubSpot or something like that is
Exactly.
on
Yeah.
there.
So just a
Um,
disclaimer at the top that says like e- people will be able to see that you're using HubSpot, which is like whatever, if you're in your initial stages of growth, like
mhm.
not a big deal.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of people don't care. I mean, and I've seen people put up GoDaddy websites that says powered by
oh
GoDaddy,
God.
and I'm like, I would not leave that on there, but whatever.
Nope. Nope.
Um,
Nope.
but you do also get like your contact management.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're keeping your contacts in just your address book on your computer, or you're, God forbid, keeping them in like a spreadsheet or something, um,
Spreadsheets.
this is a much better way to
Mm-hmm.
go.
Yeah.
I have an onboarding where, and I was like, are we migrating data from anywhere? And she's like, yes, it's called Excel. And I'm like, great, that's an easy one to migrate from. She's like, yeah, we need
Yeah.
to get out of Excel. You do get some light
Oof.
marketing automation. Um, you get blogging. You also get their Copilot. Like you get the
The
basic like
base.
AI for free. You don't get all the
Mm-hmm.
other AI tools, but just the basic kind of their Chat GPT
Mm-hmm.
thing. Um, and you do get like some things are limited, like you get one meeting link,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but you can't
And
get more than
again, if
one.
you like, if you're a single, like,
Mm-hmm.
sole proprietorship and
Solopreneur.
you need, yeah, you need to be able to have people find time on your calendar and you do a good job of keeping up with your Google or your Outlook, like that's a really easy thing. And you can have on that meeting like multiple time slots to say like, oh, I want, a quick 15 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour,
Yep.
and they can choose that duration. So there are
Yep.
still some pretty advanced free options.
Yeah, and it's free, right? So like you can go try it and just see what you
Mm-hmm.
like and what works for you. It's a really
Mm-hmm.
good test run of the software. You
Yeah.
can also do, I don't know what my hair is doing today, by the way, but I'm very bothered by it. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow, so. But you can also do trials of different hubs as well. You can
Mm-hmm.
usually do a 14-day trial of a
Yep.
hub if you want to see what that's like.
Yeah.
But be careful because you might get hooked on features you don't have in the free version or even in the starter version.
Yeah. That's my
All right.
problem. Once you taste the pro
Mm-hmm.
Kool-Aid, it's really hard to dial back to
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, to
mhm.
the point we've even got a couple of well, I guess it's just sales enterprise right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Okay, so what makes you sad? What are you going to be missing out on? And honestly, these are like if they're not deal breakers, then free might
Mm-hmm.
work for you to give it a start.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if some of them are, we'll talk about starter and pro and enterprise and all that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but what's missing?
I For me, it's the automation pieces that are missing.
Mm-hmm.
That there's no email automation, which is really what a lot of marketing automation comes down to, right? Is you want to be
Yep.
able to trigger emails based on contact activities like form fills or interacting with content or, drip campaigns, nurture things, those types of like really kind of baseline
Mm-hmm.
marketing
Yep.
activities. That's the biggest thing, and you get some of that with the starter version. They have, you can send a couple of emails with the starter, like somebody fills out a form, what do you want to happen
Mm-hmm.
right after,
Yep.
a little bit of that, but there's not, it doesn't get any more robust than that. You can't add delays, you can't do, if thens, those types of things, but
Yeah, and you
that's,
don't
yeah.
get like complex workflows, so you're not going to get any
Hmm.
branching or anything like that. Like the
Exactly.
thing that got
Yeah.
me, even starter, is everybody wants to do the like, I want to resend this to people who didn't open it, and that's not an
Yeah.
option.
Right.
You got to get up to pro for that.
Hmm.
You can do something with people who opened it in starter, which is really weird to me because like if you opened it, I don't necessarily need to do anything with you. Like, but not people. The unopens are the ones that's like, I want to re-engage them or try to re-engage them.
You could, I
Um,
mean, still filter a list by, is not opened, or like
yep.
there's
And that's
some
how I've done it in
workarounds.
the
Yeah.
past is
Yeah.
you put them in a list and then you have to manually send the email again to that list like the next
Hmm.
day or whatever. So it's
Hmm.
not terrible, but again, if you're like low, you don't have a huge list, you don't send a ton of emails, it's eminently better than the free MailChimp, like
Oh,
way, way light years better.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And it's less of a pain in the ass to like when you get to the upgrade. MailChimp's audiences are bonkers to me. Like, it doesn't make sense. We've migrated several people out of MailChimp,
mhm.
and the way in which they segment contacts makes me want to pull all of my hair out. So I just like,
Yeah, it doesn't come over cleanly, even though there's an
no,
integration.
no,
Um,
no.
you're also not going to be able to install your own template from the marketplace for landing pages or blogs. You're just going to have to take
Mhm.
the free templates that HubSpot has,
The
and they provide like
growth
four, I
theme.
think,
Yeah.
themes. Yeah, sorry, the themes. Um, there are, when you get to starter, there are some themes you can put in that are starter compatible. But
Hmm.
really at pro is where all the, like, I want to say the
The
wheels
mo
come off, but not the wheels. The handcuffs come off.
Yeah. And the difference between starter and pro is you can't do individual module purchases from the marketplace, where in
Mm.
a starter theme, you're limited to the modules available in that theme. You
Yep.
can't like add a calculator widget to a page or those
Mhm.
types of things from the marketplace. But
Yep.
we I've used and we've used at the agency too, the Power Pro
Hmm.
starter version in starter portals and been really impressed and satisfied with the customizations available
Yep.
there.
Yeah, there's just, I mean, and if you've got a starter portal, it's great. But if you've got like a pro portal and you try to use a starter template, or theme, you're gonna be really disappointed because there's
Yeah.
things it just doesn't do because it's not designed to,
Hmm.
because it's not designed for a
Hmm.
pro
Yeah.
instance. So I think the other big ones, like, there's a lot of power in HubSpot's reporting,
Hmm.
and you just get standard
Totally.
reports, which works for a lot of people. And then API
Again,
restrictions.
some of those like baseline things where it's like, I just want to know how many contacts opened my emails. I just want to
Yep.
know, what my
What's in
average
my
deal
funnel?
revenue is.
Yep.
Exactly. Like those baseline things. And quite honestly, we find that a lot of people aren't taking advantage of those reporting capabilities, even at a baseline, right?
Yep.
That
Yep.
they're not capitalizing on all the data that's available in their like pro or enterprise portal.
Yep.
So maybe that's
So
not
the
a big deal.
the one that always kills me and I think hurts for solopreneurs especially is no social media. The social
Yeah.
media functions just aren't there.
Hmm.
They're also not there in starter. You've got to go to pro to get those.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's, I
so,
think, my biggest pain point as
mhm.
well, is being able to really
But
push that you can manage all of your marketing in a single place.
in one
Because
place.
and when social media and HubSpot were kind of coming up, initially,
Hmm.
social media was not really required. It was more of an individual thing. And then,
Yeah. And people
they
are using
built out
Hootsuite
their
and other tools.
starter pro enterprise, at a different level of when social media became kind of required for businesses, and they just haven't,
Yep.
it hasn't caught up, which is surprising for me.
Yeah. I mean, and YouTube used to be an enterprise only, and they rolled it down to pro finally. So
Hmm.
you get um, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube
LinkedIn.
now are the
Yeah.
four.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think I'm trying to think if there was something else in that area. Those are kind of the big ones, I think.
Hmm.
And you just can't do as much and you don't have as much customization. But if you're already doing social media in another tool, and you don't need that and you really just want this for your drip campaigns
Hmm.
and lead generation and your CRM, totally great. Like that's
Yeah.
100% fine.
Yep.
Um, all good, all good.
Yeah. I wonder if we could talk about when free doesn't cut it anymore. Like
So
what
basically,
are some,
how do you
like
know you need to upgrade?
what are some indicators that it's time?
I think growing frustration is what's always mine. Like whenever there's like I go to
You
do
get the
something and there's
buckets.
the little orange
Uh-huh.
lock beside it and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, but I wanted to do that." That's a
Hmm.
really good one when there are features cuz you'll see all of the features. There'll just be these
Hmm.
little orange locks by them that means you don't get this.
Hmm.
And if you click it, it'll say reach out to us to upgrade. Um
Or
I
you can
think that
start your
that's a
free
big
trial.
one.
Yeah.
But if your contact lists are getting really big and you want more automation to manage those, you
Hmm.
do hit a point. Like you can have as many people in the CRM as you want to. You can have millions of
Hmm.
people, and it's like 10 million or something like that.
It's
But
yeah.
if you're going to market to them, you've got to pay.
Hmm.
That's where they kind of get you. But also, like, just your list organization, automation is so handy for that. And you get a limited number of lists, like groups of
Okay.
contacts.
Yep.
Audiences is what MailChimp calls them.
Hmm.
And so as you tier up to starter, pro, and enterprise, you get more and more lists.
Yeah.
So if you've got a huge, I mean, I had a client that had 160,000 people they imported, and I was like, oh my God. And they're like, well, we don't market to all of those. I'm like, okay. Like, but geez, that's a
Then what are
lot.
you doing with them?
They had like, it was like
Sorry.
20 or 30,000 where they're like, do not contact list. And I'm like, yeah, you can bring that in. It's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess
I
so. I
always
mean,
just am like, well,
sure.
if they're not in here, I won't contact them. So why bother?
Hmm.
But I
Yeah.
know that bigger companies need more structure around
Yeah.
that. Um, but yeah, so that's really big. And then I think the other one we touched on, when automation, you need automation and you need things to
Yeah.
happen for you. And
Hmm.
I think, like, looking at it as, even if you're going all the way to pro, which runs, the best deal in pro is called HubSpot for Marketers, used to be Marketing Plus, and you get all the content tools, the AI
Hmm.
tools, and the marketing tools all boop, into one for about $300 or $400 cheaper than you could get them separately. But it's like $900 a month.
Yeah.
But when you look at that, I mean, that's not even a $12,000 a year part-time employee. And if you're getting all of those AI tools and you're going to be able to do more
Hmm.
with the marketing automation and not have to follow up on things yourself,
That's such
it
an
can
interesting
really be worth it.
perspective. Yeah.
I always look
Yeah.
at it as, what would it be if I had to hire somebody to do this? And how can
Mm.
I get around that when I'm looking at, like, from a small business running standpoint?
Yeah.
Because the more you do yourself, the better.
That's such good perspective, actually. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow,
Well,
wow,
same
wow.
thing. If you're going to have a $60,000 retainer, so $5,000 a month with an agency,
Hmm.
people are like, "Oh, that's a lot of money," and it's like, that's barely a decent employee in most markets.
Yeah.
60 grand might get you somebody with a little bit of experience, but they're
Hmm.
also not going to have the breadth that our team of 10 or 12 or 15
Right.
people, whatever big,
Yeah.
have, and you can't flex. Like, you get one person, and you just hope that they can do everything you need them to.
Figure it out, Joni.
Roll the dice. Um, all right, so reporting is the other one we talked about. If you're
Hmm.
not able to create the reports that you want, but again, if you're a small business, you probably can from all the standard reports.
Hmm.
And then social media is a big one. Ads integration is a big one.
Yeah,
Um, you want to have a chat bot on your website. You're going to have to upgrade.
definitely.
Um, so those
Yeah.
are kind of the big pieces. But the number one that I see is a client will be like, I want to do this, but it says I can't unless I upgrade.
Hmm.
And it's like, yes, that's correct. We can demo
Yeah.
that for you. And if you want to upgrade, this is what it looks like.
Mhm. I also just would encourage anyone who's considering an upgrade to make sure that you include the operations hub, even if
Hmm.
it's just operations starter, because that's like your bare minimum, like capitalization, first name, last name, separating. There's like some really simple
It does some
operations
very simple
automations.
stuff. Most of the operations, like automation stuff for data cleanup, is in
Hmm.
Pro. But what
Yeah.
Operations Hub Starter gets you is, the biggest one is custom properties from integrations. So integrations have a limited number of properties without
Oh,
Operations Hub.
okay. Okay.
And it's just your standard properties, whether it's QuickBooks or Zoom or any of
Sure.
those. But when you do Operations Hub Starter, which is only at the time of this just
It's like,
$15 per month for one seat, and you really just need one seat, you don't
yeah.
need a bunch. Um, it opens up custom properties. So it might be these 15 standard properties will sync, and you're like, well,
Hmm.
I've got, like, 30
500. Yeah.
or 500 properties or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, okay, so you can actually map those then.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
That's good. That's good context.
mhm.
Um,
So that's
yeah.
a big one for me.
Yeah.
I think that's the best advice I've ever heard, is just get Operations Hub Starter at least. If you can do the Pro is, I
Yeah.
want to say it's like 500 a year, 540, something like that. It's not terrible, um, but it can be really worth it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Even
So
just
I,
the, I got really excited about like the capitalization, where it's like if somebody
mhm.
types in all caps, just like standardize their responses
And
so they're
phone
not actually
numbers.
yelling you. Yeah.
Yep, and phone
Yes.
number formats. The phone number property will do that for you. Um, you don't need Operations Hub, so you can do that even on the free. You can set
Mhm.
that property properly. Just a little bit more difficult, but um, yeah, it cleans up so much stuff. It'll also, if somebody puts a first and last name in the first name with
Mhm.
Operations Pro, it'll extract the last name and put it in
Oh,
the
that's
last name
helpful.
field.
Okay.
hmm Yeah, it's
I
really
love
nice.
that. Yeah.
All right, I'm trying to think of the other reasons. I just always get people who are like, I want to do this and I can't.
Hmm.
Um, for sales, it would be sequences are a
Yep.
big one to upgrade
Yep.
to Pro. And those are like automated series of emails, and your goal is to try to get somebody to email you
Convert.
back, schedule a meeting, fill out a form, whatever those are.
Hmm.
So that's a huge one when you want to automate more of that sales piece. Um, the other one, I just had it in my brain. Oh, if you want more than one pipeline.
Yeah.
And some people do, some people don't. Some people just mix everything in one, but sometimes it's
Hmm.
nice to have a separate pipeline.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, those are really the big ones.
Hmm.
Um, but just
I would
remember
say,
also, like, even if
yeah.
you got Marketing Pro, you still have free on all the other plans. Like, you've got Sales Free and all
Uh-huh.
that. And so you can still do a meeting link and, some of those light tools and whatnot.
Yep.
Just not going to be as many
Mhm.
as you could
Yeah.
otherwise.
Yeah. And all in all, like we were saying at the beginning, it's still leaps and bounds ahead of what you get for free out of most other
hmm
similar tools. Like I would be shocked to know that Calendly offered a free option that was as robust as the free, the single free meeting
Single
link.
meeting link in HubSpot.
Or
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And I think
Uh,
so. That's a good point. What I
mhm.
run into with folks who get a little bit price sensitive, it's like, okay, but you're paying for Calendly, you're paying for Constant Contact, you're paying for this, you're paying for that. You can roll all of those in here, and you've got all of those features in this platform, even at the starter
And
level.
And I think that the thing that I try and counsel people on most often with that is that all of the tools function and are set up in a similar way. So
hmm
once you understand how a deal pipeline works, you're also going to understand how a service pipeline works,
Yep,
right?
they're
So if
exactly the
you're
same.
understanding the sales process, you can start to integrate some of the free service tools.
hmm Yeah,
Similarly, like when you start to set up properties for your contacts, those properties work the same on deals, companies, tickets, whatever, all of your separate objects, and where like a Salesforce, or if you're using a Constant Contact and a Calendly,
yep,
and
they're
like
all different.
there's all those little different kind of tweaks and things that you need to figure out.
Yep,
And similarly, again, like if you can figure out how to build an email, more often than not, you can figure out how to build a landing page, because those drag and
same.
drop
Yep,
editors work very similarly.
yep. And I keep saying suite, but it's the customer platform now, is what they call it.
Oh.
So what I will generally see um, is oh, they changed how they display pricing. It's sort of weird. More people will start with like the starter customer platform than I
Mm-hmm.
see doing just pure free.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or they'll start with free and be like, yeah, I kind of want this, and upgrade to the starter platform.
Mm-hmm.
And you get quite a bit with that starter platform, and it's $15 a month per seat. So, if you got two people,
Yeah.
it's going to be $360 a year. Three people is
Mm-hmm.
going to be, well, 15 times 12, more than that. I'm now lost on math. Um, I guess
440.
four people would be 600. 450? Would that be three people? That sounds right.
440.
440.
The
Per
three, the
year.
six, and the eight.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want me to talk you through how I did the math?
I have that whiteboard that's like everything going in front of me, with all the math equations.
6 and 8 is 14, and then you carry the one, and it becomes
Yeah, no, I don't want
540. It's not five. It's not 440. It's 540. I don't
to.
even know. Anyway.
But you get so much for like that fairly low price.
Mm-hmm.
And then like if you're like, oh, okay, like well the sales starter is great for me and service starter is great for me and the one pipeline and I'm good with that, but I really need more in marketing, you can upgrade marketing. Just
Mm-hmm.
know it will break the starter platform like discount, because there is a
Mm-hmm.
discount for all of those things being together, and when you upgrade one hub it kind of like freaks it out.
Just I
Um
don't. Yeah,
but
does not
any sales
compute.
rep, like if you're going to upgrade from free to starter or from starter to pro, they'll help you like
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you aren't getting, screwed. HubSpot's really good about that, I think. Um,
Yeah.
but like I said, like, doing that HubSpot for marketers is so great. And
Mm-hmm.
that 900 a month includes 3 seats. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know either.
Um, So on the starter platform, there are some restrictions. Again, you get more than with
Mm-hmm.
free, but you'll get fewer things. Like there's a limited number of web pages. I think it's like 30, if I remember right. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you get one blog, and I think
Yep.
you get it's like isn't it still 10,000 blog posts or something? It's a really high
It's
number, right?
quite a few posts. Yeah, it's a single blog. The caveat, or like kind of not a workaround necessarily, but one of the things that surprised me about Starter is that you can do a single language translation. So
Hmm.
you can have a
English,
second
Spanish.
language exactly, and that's what I'm working with. One of my nonprofit volunteer spots is like translating their whole website into
Yep. Oh.
Spanish. And you can also do, I've leaned pretty heavily on my $20 Chat GPT
Mhm.
subscription for that.
Oh, they've made some updates, Caitlin. I'm looking at it.
Hmm.
So you get 2 ticket pipelines in the service starter. Not just
Really?
one. Yeah, I'm looking at it right here in front of me, and you get 15 in Pro. So like Pro, like you ramp up significantly. The
Yeah.
thing about the web pages, and this is a fun one, you get 30 web pages, and for small businesses, that's not a big deal. You
Hmm.
also get 30 total landing
Landing
pages,
pages. Hmm.
which are essentially web pages. Like, and depending on what you do
Hmm.
with your navigation, you get 60 pages.
Hmm.
Um, but you do only get one subdomain and one top level domain. So,
Yep.
but that actually works in your favor if you, I mean, the landing pages can just carry your main domain if you want to put your
Hmm.
website in there.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, that's one of the things I think we find the most is people will do that starter platform to get their website out of WordPress and into HubSpot.
Hmm.
And if you've got a few, I mean, I know you and I both have, websites that we've pulled in there
Yeah.
and pulled it in. It also removes your HubSpot branding. So that's
Hmm.
your other benefit of
Yeah.
moving up to starter.
Yep.
Um, all right.
I think we've covered it.
Kind of. I mean, we don't really don't want to get into the pro and the enterprise. Like it just gets into like you just get more as you go into those. The one thing that I will say, and I know we brought this up when Alex was our guest,
Hmm.
if you do just one enterprise seat, it unlocks a whole suite of tools for your entire hub. Not
Hmm.
and for a lot of those, everyone can play with them. Some of them that you can't, like the IVR and everything. You have to have a seat in enterprise to have your phone number on
Yeah.
the IVR and all that. But like permissions by individual properties
Hmm.
comes along with it. Setting up presets for user permissions comes with it.
Gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's with either sales enterprise or service enterprise. I cannot talk today. I think it's my hair. It's distracting me. No, it was like so staticky today, and I was trying to do something, and it just kept standing up, and I'm like, ugh.
There's a
But
little like mad scientist look going on
very
today.
much so. But without like all of the benefits of it, I have no invention whatsoever, just clutter.
I think,
Um,
well,
But yeah, so
mm,
one service enterprise seat or one sales enterprise seat, depending on which one you need more,
hmm,
just unlocks a whole bunch of features. So that's
yeah.
something to consider as well. And those are, I think the service enterprise is like $90 a month. I think I don't remember, and sales enterprise or sales professional is $90. Sales enterprise is 150. Service enterprise, oh,
Hmm.
it's also 150. I thought that it was cheaper.
Hmm.
Um,
They must have
but yeah,
caught on to people doing service instead of sales.
yeah, I think service used to be 100.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so it's there's just so much, and you also get all of the e-commerce or the commerce tools, excuse me.
Hmm.
Even in the free version, you get some light versions, but they open up pretty much all of it, and you just pay per transaction
Hmm.
as you go. So
I have been really impressed with their commerce rollout and the capability as well as the ease again of integration with
Hmm.
the rest of the platform. So I think
Yep.
that's a
If
across
you've
the
ever
board for
tried,
sure.
yeah, if you've ever tried to integrate with authorize.net, like, oh, so many
Ugh.
hoops and so difficult. HubSpot's even easier than Stripe. Like,
Hmm.
it's just, and Stripe is pretty easy. It's just
Yeah.
so easy.
Hmm.
All
Yeah.
right. So I would say, like, jump into Starter, give it a try, like just the whole, or the free suite, sorry, give it a
Hmm.
try.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that leap up to Starter.
Hmm.
Especially if you're just one person or two people, it's not that
Yeah.
expensive. A few $100 a year. I guarantee you're paying more than that for like toilet paper. Um, but
And
it's,
probably for the disparate tools that you're trying to use as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Start looking at your tools and see what you can
Mm.
consolidate into HubSpot.
Yeah.
Um, And I think that, if you then decide like, hey, I need to upgrade to a professional hub, you're going to get a HubSpot like they're called a growth specialist who will help you with that. A salesperson,
Hmm.
there's agencies like us that can do a demo and kind of advise you on what you need in your software stack. We do that all the time for people. Um, so it's really, a good opportunity to start, get things organized, and then just grow with it. And as you grow, you can grow what you do with HubSpot.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Put
I
it on
drank
a
the Kool-Aid.
billboard.
Yep, I drank the big bucket of orange Kool-Aid. Loving it.
That's funny. As always, you can find our agency at antidote_71. If you have a question you'd like to send our way, head to CTA Podcast Live to shoot us an email, or even better, you can leave us a voice message on our hotline at 402-718-9971. Your question will make it into a future episode. What's coming up?
Okay, so we do have another episode coming next week. This one should be wild. The most overhyped marketing tactics right now.
Oh,
So, what is like super hot, super popular, but like, probably doesn't pan
juice
out
isn't
to
worth the squeeze. That makes me tired.
exactly. When the juice is
Just
always
thinking
worth a
about it.
squeeze? A margarita. That lime
Hmm.
juice is always worth the squeeze.
That's
100%.
correct. A little lemon drop. I love it. Well, we'll
Uh,
see you next week.